When you were growing up, your parents probably told you that owning your own home was a staple of being an adult. Yet, here we are, years later, and the closest many millennials can get to being a homeowner is living in their parents' basement and praying that they end up in someone's will. If you ask me, one thing holding back most young adults from buying their own home is having to spend a fortune on rent every single month, which is why I'm going to walk you through step by step how to save up money to buy a house while renting so you can become a homeowner in no time. You see, I never really understood why my parents used to be so adamant on me owning my own home until I finally became a homeowner myself. The simplest way to describe my feelings around owning my own place can be summed up in one word: pride. I was proud that as a single person I could afford all the costs of owning a home, and trust me, there are a lot of them. Since owning my own home, I've had to deal with faulty electrical, broken appliances, gas leaks and the like. However, the benefits of owning your own home do extend beyond just feeling good about yourself. For instance, you can start gaining the appreciation your home's market value provides and potentially rent out part of your home in order to subsidize your costs. Needless to say, there are a ton of benefits that you gain when owning your own home, but there's one that, in my eyes, stands out the most. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was on a first date, which I'll admit I don't get many of. And my new female friend and I were laughing and having a good time. Things were going well, and then she asked me if I had my own place. I slowly sank in my chair and admitted that at 27 years old I still don't own my own home. The second I said this, her mood instantly changed, and about 5 minutes later she excused herself and walked out on the date. It was at this moment that I realised I needed to get serious about buying a house. Fast forward a year, and using the steps I'm about to share with you, I was able to become a homeowner for the first time despite the challenges that come with saving money while renting. En route to breaking out of the renter's rut and finally becoming the proud homeowner that I am today, I ended up developing a home buying strategy that I believe is the most powerful tool anyone can utilise to streamline their path to home ownership. I call this model the depth model. The depth model is a 5-step model that will take you from a homeless renter to a proud homeowner in the shortest time frame possible. However, this will only be possible if you progress properly through each of the 5 steps I'm to share, with the 5th and final step being the one that will make or break your chances of ever owning a home. The first step in the depth model is the elimination of high-interest debt. I'll be the first to admit that it's hard to really put a finger on whether debt is a good thing or not when it comes to managing your finances. Some financial gurus will tell you that debt is the devil, while others will claim it's the best wealth-building tool out there. Easy to feel confused, right? Well, one form of debt I think everyone agrees is detrimental to your financial success is high-interest debt. This type of debt typically comes in the form of auto loans, credit card debt, and dare I even say payday loans. Now, I'm sure you can already somewhat understand why having high-interest debt holds you back from saving for a house. If every month you're sending hundreds of dollars to a creditor, that's hundreds of dollars you aren't putting away for a down payment instead. However, I truly don't think people appreciate just how crippling this type of debt can be in their quest to own their own home. For instance, if you had the average American credit card debt of $6,000 and made the minimum payment of $200 every month, it would take you 40 months for you to pay it off, and would have you paying over $2,000 in interest, or 1/3 of your original balance. That's literally $2,000 you're handing over for nothing that could put you significantly closer to amassing the down payment you'd need to escape the renting rut and finally own your own home. If you're all about keeping more money in your pockets and giving less to credit card companies, gently tap that like button below. This is why if you do presently carry high-interest debt, you need to get rid of it as quickly as that girl who triple texts you every hour right after meeting you. To do this, sort your debts by the ones with the highest interest rates and start paying those down first. Keep this up until all your debts have been paid off, because trust me, being debt-free will make saving for a home, especially while renting, 1,000 times easier. The next step in the depth model relates to your expenses, which you'll want to cut down to a bare minimum in order to afford the down payment for your future home. Now, contrary to all the bullshit saving advice out there these days, I'm not about to tell you to cut out coffees or start recycling bathwater. I want you to see real savings progress, and this is achieved by focusing on your big 3 expenses. First, minimize your current rent costs. This may require you to downsize or sublease part of your place, both of which aren't ideal but will help massively in your quest to owning your own home. Next, aim to minimize your transportation costs. It's sad to say, but some people will spend as much on their car every month as their rent, and then they wonder why they simply can't break out of the renting rut they find themselves in. In my opinion, opting to use public transportation over owning a car is the easiest way to exponentially increase your ability to save every month while working to buy a home. For instance, when you own a car, you are regularly incurring costs like car payments, gas, maintenance, insurance, and the like. Owning a car every month can easily cost you upwards of $1,000. Now, compare this to the average monthly transit costs in the United States of $67, and you can see that you can easily be saving hundreds of dollars a month by being okay cozying up against a few friendly strangers whenever you need to get around town. Finally, you need to keep your food and entertainment costs in check. Let me just tell you that fancy dinners and regular trips to Whole Foods, better known as whole paychecks, probably won't be in the cards for you while you are working to save up to buy your own home. When combined, these two expenses on average cost Americans $750 each and every month. That's almost as much as my mortgage payment. Now, of course, you need to eat, but even saving half that money by reducing how much you eat will still leave you with plenty of money to save towards your future dream home. The next step in the depth model is your plan. If you ask me, it's kind of sad that you even need a plan to buy a home, but with how inflated the real estate market is these days, you need to be tactical in your home buying approach. As such, the first type of plan we need to look into are home buying plans. While general wisdom is to put down 20% when buying a home, this can be a hurdle to many people. As such, you should be at the very least looking into options like FHA mortgages. These types of mortgages allow you to put down a smaller down payment because they are backed by the government to give first-time home buyers a better chance of getting into a home. The other part of your home buying plan should be to find ways to access the funds you'll need to make that down payment. For instance, in the US, every first-time home buyer can withdraw up to $10,000 out of their traditional individual retirement account, IRA or Roth IRA, without paying the 10% penalty for early withdrawal. Keep in mind, however, that if you don't repay the money within 120 days and you're under the age of 59 and a half, then that withdrawal becomes subject to the 10% penalty and will be included in your income for tax purposes. The final part of the planning process is to understand how much your costs will vary when you switch from renting to owning. The major expenses most people have to adapt to are taxes and renovations and repairs. When you rent, you simply hand over your money every month and move on with your life. However, when you own a home, you will be constantly beaten down by rising property taxes and the fear that your furnace will stop working or that your roof will rip off. As such, calculate your anticipated costs as a homeowner before making this significant life change. The fourth step in the depth model is timing. While I would never advise that you try and time the stock market, timing the real estate market may work in your favor. I know that when I bought my home, people had been telling me to wait as they thought the prices of homes would decline as the pandemic raged on. Well, home prices in my area rose significantly during that time, and if I would have waited, I would have ended up being priced out of the market entirely. Therefore, when transitioning from renting to buying, assess the price trends in the market you want to buy in. If prices are rising quicker than you can save, it may make sense to buy sooner versus waiting and potentially being priced out. Fortunately, one thing you will never be priced out on is hitting that subscribe button below, so if you haven't already, then feel free to do it right now. I really appreciate it. The final step in the depth model is achieving a heightened income. So far, I have shared with you multiple strategies you can use to stash away more money in your pocket each and every month. However, nothing will do more for your savings efforts than making more money. I know for myself personally, I used to think that if I just saved diligently, I would never run into any financial issues. Boy, I was wrong. Even me, someone who lived at home for many years and works as a CPA, didn't exactly have the easiest time buying a home, given how hard it is these days to save up enough money to buy even an average price home. For reference, the average home price in the United States was just under $350,000 as of 2021. If you were to put down 20% when buying, that would require you to hand over $70,000. The average household as of 2021 saves $6,000 a year. Raises and promotions aside, which your bosses probably won't end up giving you anyway, at this savings rate, it would take you over 10 years to be able to amass the down payment for the average home. However, here's the catch. After those 10 years have passed, that $350,000 would now be worth $700,000, meaning your down payment would have to be even larger to actually be able to go through with the purchase. This is all to say that you need to find ways to amass your down payment in short order. The two ways you can do this, if you aim to transition from renter to homeowner in the next couple of years, is to either pick up a second job or freelance. I personally prefer freelancing because you usually make more per hour than if you were to work a second job. However, you do need sales skills, so there is a trade-off that needs to be considered when contemplating this line of work. Sadly, despite using the depth model, many people still struggle to buy a home, which is why in this next video I go over the step-by-step approach I took to buy my first home that I guarantee will streamline your path to home ownership. Click on over and let's get started.